Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Friday, the 4th of December, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at currencies, noticing that equity markets have mostly gone up with a sea of green there. So the dollar, this is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute chart, my long-term, medium-term, and short-term view with corresponding point and figure targets. Dollar has had a really bad week. Once we took out that September low, we've gone into free fall. So very bearish trend there for the week. Downside potential still lower. So we've got really moves to another 3% lower, 1% lower. So we really are starting to see this capitulation. Weak dollar being a theme. That means that the euro against the dollar is really breaking out. And the rule of thumb here is that the move into the pattern will give us a similar move out of the pattern. So looks like we've got a lot to run there. So euro looking very strong against the dollar. Against the yen, the dollar is below the 104 mark. And we're just seeing here that gradual trend lower as well. Sterling sitting at 134.78, mostly against that weaker dollar. And fairly... discouraging news on Brexit this morning, but the market seems to be taking that very much in its stride. Against the euro, we have been declining generally for the week, but still holding the medium-term bullish position. Bitcoin sitting at $19,300, so it's hovering. We did see a big fall last week, but this week we've caught that back. This is looking very much like a bullish engulfing candle for the week. So further to run. If we can make new highs, we activate an upside target, $25,000. The S&P 500 index was down slightly yesterday. The Nasdaq was actually up slightly, so we're just holding on to the gains we've seen this week. And if we look at the Dow, we're also up as well. So the long-term position on the Dow still not managing to get back above that 30,000 mark, but it is still looking very bullish. The futures today looking set to open higher. The S&P 500 future is up 0.4%, the Nasdaq E-mini future up 0.41%, and the VIX volatility is down 1.5% to just under 21. So we are seeing markets looking pretty sanguine at the moment and not really taking much into in terms of the fear. The FTSE future up 0.83%. The DAX in Germany is up 0.4%, the cash market. The CAC Quarante up 0.7%. So we're seeing European equities taking the US futures as their cue. Looking at Japan, we weren't much change there overnight, but we are still holding on to those highs, looking pretty good. The Hang Seng was up 0.4%. And Chinese stocks, pretty good week there because we're just starting to break higher there. This will give us a level that's closing higher. We still haven't quite broken the July high, but looking like we're building a base ready to run there as well. And the Sensex in India up nearly 1%, looking very strong indeed. So that's looking good. The S&P 500 index, the Aussie market is up 0.3%. And if we look at gold, that recovery, the short-term recovery is well underway. Here we're seeing the trend looking better from the lows this week. So we've got 1911 as our short-term target there. Silver holding the $24 mark, looking pretty strong. And US 10-year yield sitting at 0.93%. So getting back to the high 90s is looking likely, just building gradually. Looking at the energy mix now, we've got Brent crude up nearly 2%. We called Brent flat for the week, and we're just starting to see that move higher today. So last week was the big move, but we're looking higher there. WTI up 1.9%, and US nat gas sitting at 248. A little bit worrying for US nat gas because we're falling below that critical resistance level. So that's just one to watch there. Below that 250 mark is a bit of concern. Next, we're looking at 240 and then 230. These round numbers have been pretty important. Coal pushing higher, and that 61 resistance now clearly broken, so we're really breaking out a major flag pattern really for coal. That's looking good. And emissions now starting to get, it's up 3% this morning, now starting to get near that 30 And we'll be calling emissions bullish next week, almost certainly, because we've got these good, strong upside targets now above 31, 31.15, 31.65. MBP's up 3%. It's been a bit of a seesaw week for gas, and TTF much the same, just up 4%, but has again been a bit of a seesaw week. And looking at winter gas, we're up 2.8%. German power up 3%, very strong push here. We were bullish for power this week, looking pretty strong there. And looking at the quarterly contract up 5%, so very big moves there. Good upside targets. And looking at Nordic power up 3% on the CAL and on the quarterly contract. So we are just seeing energy markets looking pretty perky for the close to the week. That's it for today. Until Monday, have a great weekend. Happy charting. See you then.